Imagine a man who never finished high school, a man who grew up in deep poverty, a man who left school at 14 to help his family survive, a man who began working as a delivery boy for a shirt maker, carrying packages on his bicycle. That boy was Amancio Ortega. And that bicycle was the first step in building a fashion empire worth over $120 billion. This is not the story of celebrity endorsements. It is not the story of million-dollar ad campaigns. It is the story of a man who changed fashion by focusing on speed, discipline, and execution. While the rest of the industry was stuck in old habits, Ortega built a company that would force Gap, H&M, and even Shine to scramble for survival. This is the story of Zara Amancio Ortega, who was born in 1936 in a small town in northern Spain. His father worked on the railways, his mother was a maid. The family struggled. Ortega later said that one moment shaped him for life. As a boy, he went with his mother to buy groceries. She asked for credit. The shopkeeper refused. They walked home empty-handed. Ortega promised himself that day he would never again accept poverty as his future. At 14, he quit school. Not because he wanted to, but because his family needed money. He began working in shops, learning every detail of the clothing trade. First as a delivery boy, then as an assistant. He watched how garments were made, how customers behaved, and how slow the industry was to respond to demand. He noticed something others ignored. Fashion moved too slowly. By the time designs reached stores, trends had already shifted. Ortega saw opportunity in speed. In 1963, he began a small workshop with his siblings and future wife. They made quilted bathrobes. They sold them door to door. The business was tiny. But it was a start. 10 years later, in 1975, he opened the first Zara store in La Coruca, Spain. The vision was clear. Deliver fashionable clothes quickly and cheaply. No waiting 6 months for a new collection. Customers would see new designs every week. This was revolutionary. While traditional fashion retailers needed half a year to design, manufacture, and distribute clothes, Ortega built a system that did it in 3 weeks. The process was tight. Designers studied trends and listened to customer feedback. Small batches were produced in local factories, stores were restocked twice a week. Shopping at Zara became an experience of constant novelty. If you saw something you liked, you had to buy it now. Because next week, it might be gone. This system created urgency. Customers returned often. Zara shoppers visited stores 17 times a year. Compared to 3 or 4 visits for traditional retailers, Zara did not need television ads or billboards. The endless cycle of new arrivals was its marketing. Ortega built a company that sold speed disguised as style expansion came quickly. In the 1980s, Zara spread across Spain, then across Europe. In the 1990s, it entered America and Asia. Ortega's company Inditex grew into a powerhouse with multiple brands. But Zara was always the crown jewel. Its model was unmatched. Competitors could not keep up. Gap, once the king of American casual wear, was too slow. H&M tried to copy Zara's system, but could not match its efficiency. Years later, Shine would take the fast fashion concept online. But even Shine was walking a path Ortega had created decades before. What made Zara almost untouchable was its supply chain. Most fashion companies outsourced manufacturing to Asia for lower costs. Zara kept much of its production close to home in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. This gave flexibility. If a design sold well, Zara could make more immediately. If it failed, they could stop production overnight. There were no massive losses, just quick adjustments. Ortega built an empire not on predicting trends, but on reacting to them faster than anyone else. By the early 2000s, Zara had become a global giant. Stores opened in major cities from Paris to New York to Tokyo. Ortega himself quietly became one of the richest men in the world. But unlike other billionaires, he avoided the spotlight. He rarely gave interviews, he wore simple clothes. His Zara basics. He ate lunch with employees in the cafeteria, and he kept his private life private. His company transformed fashion. By 2024, Zara reported $30 billion in turnover. Inditex, the parent company, was valued at over $120 billion. Ortega had built a business bigger than Gap and H&M combined for a man who once could not afford groceries. The scale of the success was almost unthinkable. The key to Zara's rise can be broken down into 3 lessons. First, speed beats tradition. Ortega understood that in a world where taste changes overnight, the ability to move quickly is more powerful than size. Second, simplicity wins. Zara avoided the noise of celebrity endorsements and multi-million-dollar campaigns. Instead, it gave customers what they wanted when they wanted it. Third, discipline matters. Ortega built a company on tight systems and strict focus. While competitors tried to outspend each other, he quietly out-executed them. But Zara's rise also highlights the darker side of fast fashion. Critics have pointed out the environmental cost of producing endless clothing at high speed. Concerns about waste and sustainability continue to follow the industry. Zara has responded with promises of greener production, recycling programs, and ambitious sustainability goals. Whether it can balance speed with responsibility remains a challenge for the future. Yet there is no denying that Ortega reshaped global fashion forever. Think about what Zara achieved. It convinced millions of customers worldwide to walk into its stores not once or twice a year, but dozens of times. It turned shopping into a habit. It did this without relying on traditional advertising, without the lure of celebrity endorsements, without massive discounts. Zara created a new kind of fashion culture, one where constant change itself was the product. The competition has tried everything to catch up. Gap attempted reinvention after reinvention, but still lags far behind. H&M grew massive in size, but struggles with efficiency. Shine rose by turning fast fashion into hyper-fast digital fashion, pumping out thousands of styles every day. Yet Zara continues to dominate because it offers more than speed. It offers reliability, design that feels refined, and stores that create an in-person experience online rivals cannot match. Amancio Ortega himself remains a mystery. He is known as the invisible billionaire. Few photos exist of him. He avoids speeches and interviews. He never sought fame. His focus was always on the business and the people inside it. He once said he did not want to be remembered for being rich, but for building a company of people. That humility and focus are part of Zara's DNA. From a boy who once watched his mother humiliated for not being able to buy groceries on credit, to one of the richest men in the world, Ortega's journey is a story of resilience and vision. He built Zara not by following the fashion industry, but by reinventing it. While others talked about trends, he delivered them faster. While others spent on advertising, he invested in supply chains. While others tried to predict the future, he created systems to react to it. Ortega's brilliance was execution. The story of Zara is not just about fashion. It is about strategy. It is about seeing opportunity where others see problems. And it is about discipline. Ortega teaches us that you do not need to be loud to win. You just need to move faster and execute better than everyone else. From humble beginnings to billions, Amancio Ortega proved that the greatest empires are not built on noise, but on quiet momentum, on discipline, and on relentless execution. And when asked if Zara had already reached its peak, Ortega's answer was simple: can one die of success? Give me a break. We are just beginning. That is the spirit of Empire Sparks. Build quietly, execute relentlessly, and let the results speak louder than words.